Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello everyone, welcome. This is Nick from TONT Sports, and today we're going to be over the Carolina Panthers salary review and off-season moves for 2022. Now, where do we start? Matt Rhule, Sam Darnold, for crying out loud. Okay, what do we got going on here? That's a good question. 5-12 last season. Matt Rhule definitely underachieved this past season. They fired their offensive coordinator, Joe Brady from LSU, who was the first guy here. Look, that guy was supposed to have head coaching jobs. Now he's not even employed in the NFL. It's just crazy to think about how fast the tides can turn. And we see over here on your screen, Sam Darnold. And here's a big guy, though, Matt Rhule. And there's a lot of moves that need to be made this season, this offseason, this mock offseason. This is a mock offseason, a mock free agency, a mock draft. And we're going to predict what we think that this team is going to do. And then at the end, we'll talk about whether or not we think that, how this team is going to do. But let me tell you this much. I thought the team was going to win 6, 7. I thought 7, 8 games this year about there. They won 5. That's definitely underachieving from where they were. But let's see what we got. So let's hop right into it, and let's get to the first slide. Here's the first slide. You got the Carolina Panthers up in the top left corner. The cap space is $17.8 million. Right now is how much they have currently to spend right now when free agency hits. Okay, they can use this to re-sign players, they can use this to sign players, and they can make this number bigger if they decide to cut some of these players listed here. Now, with that being stated, everyone listed on this slide is currently under contract, okay? Everyone in green means that if you cut, you would save money. Everyone in red, if you cut, you will lose money. So let's just play it very simple. Shaq Thompson right here, green. You cut Shaq Thompson, you would save $5.6 million. If for some strange reason you were cut Derek Brown, which would make no sense at all, but if you did, you'll lose $7.5 million. That's how this works. So now let's hop into the next slide where we're going to look at your notable losses, where it's going to show you who are the current free agents for this team and who you got to actually re-sign if you choose to, or franchise tag. Now, again, before we hop into that, though, let me know who you would cut from this list right here. All right, here we go. Here's our notable losses. And I want to make sure I make this clear. This video would not be possible. This slide would not be possible. The expected contract and the percent of snaps played without our one guy. And I want to give a special shout out to our guy, Noah, the glass pitcher, Thompson. Noah, thank you so much for getting this together for us. And I truly, truly appreciate everything you do. Now let's hop into this. The first guy we want to talk about is cornerback Stephon Gilmore. His expected contract is 2-year, $28 million deal. And he played 28.1% of the snaps. The next guy, Hassan Reddick, edge. 3-year, $35 million expected contract. Percent of snaps played, 78.6% of snaps played. The very next guy, Dante Jackson, cornerback. 2-year, $20 million deal, 66.1% of the snaps played. Next guy, Matt Paradis, center. 1-year, $3.5 million deal, 49.4% of the snaps played. And last but not least, Taquan Jones, defensive tackle. 2-year, $11.5 million deal, 59% of the snaps played. Now, typically, good rule of thumb, guys that play a high percentage of the snaps, that play well at their position, typically get brought back. But now, again, with their cap space, this team has the money to bring some of these players back if they choose to. Keyword, if they choose to. Some guys, if they want to bring some guys back, they might have to make some cuts. So now we're going to hop into what we think they're going to do with the potential targets. Here we go, the potential targets. You got $17.8 million in estimated cap space, or estimated cut is AJ Boya. That saves you $3.4 million, and it leaves you with $21.2 million in estimated total cap space available. With that being stated, or estimated signings, we got you guys signing Hassan Reddick to a 3-year, $35.1 million deal, which is $11.7 million cap hit. Ian Thomas to a 3-year, $16.5 million deal, which is a $5.5 million cap hit. And Matt Paradis, 1-year, $3.5 million deal, $3.5 million cap hit. This totals at $20.7 million. You guys have $21.2 million. We also got you guys franchise tagging Stephon Gilmore. This allows you to go over the cap space, which will put you at negative $16.7 million in cap space available. So you're in the negatives. So what do we do to fill in your needs? Well, let's say you need a quarterback, a wide receiver, an interior offensive lineman, an offensive tackle, a defensive tackle, an edge rusher, a linebacker, a cornerback. Well, in the first round, I mean, here we go, right? Let's start with this. Interior offensive lineman, we get re-signing Matt Paradis as center. We also got you guys at linebacker re-signing Hassan Reddick. And at cornerback, we got your franchise tagging Stephon Gilmore. With all that being said, we got you in the draft. In the first round, we got you drafting Kenny Pickett. And you guys don't have a second or third round pick. So in your fourth round pick, we have no idea what the hell is going to be left in the fourth round. But maybe you would target a wide receiver, a defensive tackle, or the edge position. So now let's hop into the 2022-2023 expected depth chart. Here's your expected depth chart for 2022-2023 season. Here we go. First things first, guys in orange are re-signs. Matt Paradis, we got re-signed. Ian Thomas, we got re-signed. Stephon Gilmore, we got re-signed. Hassan Reddick, we got franchise tag. The colors in yellows are placeholders. Cameron Irving's a placeholder. Morgan Fox is a placeholder. Sam Franklin's a placeholder. Again, these are guys that you want to fill in. These are three guys that really are not performing to where you want them to perform right now on the roster. And last but not least, the guy in blue is your first round pick, and Kenny Pickett, your future quarterback. With this roster, what do I think you guys are going to do? Well, to be honest with you, when you go back up here and you look at what you're losing, truly the main guy you're losing here on this video is Dante Jackson and Daquan Jones. I think you can get over Dante Jackson if you hold on to Stephon Gilmore. You got CJ Henderson and JC Horn. Last year, you were 5-12. With this roster, I would hope that hopefully late in the round, you would maybe look at trying to get a left tackle, maybe a defensive tackle. Maybe you would do some of that restructuring things that we don't really do on this channel. And maybe you find a defensive tackle or a left tackle that you can plug and play right away. But overall, look, you don't have a lot of draft capital. I'm expecting for next season, if Kenny Pickett's your quarterback and this is your team right here, I'm expecting 7 wins next year for the Carolina Panthers. Usually I say 7, 8, 9, 8, 9 wins. I'm saying 7 wins if Kenny Pickett's your quarterback and you're bringing back Hassan Reddick, Stephon Gilmore, and Ian Thomas. The reason why I feel like we're going to see a small improvement here, I do feel like Kenny Pickett is right now will come in and be a very accurate quarterback, hopefully, for these guys. You're going from one quarterback with 2 gloves 2 years ago in Teddy Bridgewater to another quarterback with 2 gloves in Kenny Pickett. Matt Rhule has a lot of connections with Kenny Pickett, so there's a very good chance that this is an option. This is definitely, very possible that he's going to be your quarterback this upcoming season. All in all, here's what I got for you guys. Last year, I thought you guys should have drafted Mac Jones. You guys didn't do it. Me and a few other members on the channel argued with whether or not you guys should have took Trey Lance, Mac Jones. I thought Mac Jones. You guys didn't take Mac Jones. You took J.C. Horn, who was my number 1 corner. So I'm all right with that. Because now you got number 1 corner. You got Stephon Gilmore's number 1 corner. And C.J. Henderson, who hopefully will live up to his expectation that he never did in Jacksonville. And then you look at the offense. The offense is pretty solid. I mean, he has weapons. McCaffrey, Moore, Anderson, Marshall, Thomas. And Tommy Tremble was another guy I was a big fan of. Cornerbacks are good. Edge rushers are good. Yidros Matos is good. Derek Brown's good. Frankie Luvu's good. Jeremy Chin's good. I think this roster is pretty solid, but there's a few holes that you got to fill in, and we'll see if you guys can do that. There's been a lot of rumors with Christian McCaffrey. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you want a first-round pick and a player for Christian McCaffrey, or would you rather keep him on the roster? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. A lot more to come. See you guys soon. Peace. We are Built Better.